Welcome to The Inner Wonder. I'm Alex and I'm your host.
You need to find meaning in your misery. You need to find the message in your misery that we don't suffer, we don't go through things just for the sake of it. That there's something we're supposed to understand, something we're supposed to learn during those things. And do we learn it? Do we focus in and say what is this trying to teach me? What am I supposed to take away from this event? And how can I use that once I learn it and apply it to my life moving forward? So I think the things we go through, cancer is nothing compared to what those people went through in Auschwitz. But at the same time, it's what's the meaning? It's not about starving. It's not about freezing to death. It's not about being worked to the bone. It's about what's the lesson I'm supposed to take away from this message. And so many of them passed away, but the ones that did survive, the work that Frankl did after he survived the concentration camps and the stories in that book about people who knew they were going to die. And he has a great line in there, and I'm going to mess it up, I think, but he says, once people lose the will to live, it's almost impossible to get that will back. So I was always a person like, I'm never going to lose the will. I want to learn. I want to keep growing. I want to improve. Even if I'm on my deathbed, I want to be one of those people that goes to the grave learning something.
Right. Terry, we've said that the why evolves, right? And it changes. So one could ask, then what's the point of having a why if tomorrow is going to be different, if in a year is different? Why is it so important to have that why, even if it evolves and changes?
Because I think it gives you a reason to go on. All my years in law enforcement, I saw a lot of hopelessness and helplessness. People who didn't have a why, didn't have a reason to go on. It's your motivator. It's your internal, alarm clock that says, hey, I've got something that I am supposed to do here in this life. Am I doing it? And you kind of fast forward to, well, on your deathbed, what are you going to say? What are you going to look back on? What regrets are you going to have? And I heard a quote one time that said the richest real estate in the world are our cemeteries, because they're areas rich in businesses never started, books never written, and relationships never pursued. So when you go to the grave, when you go to the cemetery, which we're all going to do, don't have those regrets. Do the things. I want to ask that person out. I want to talk to that individual. I want to write that book. I heard a quote one time that said 83% of Americans believe they have a book inside them, a memoir, a self-help book, some kind of cookbook, whatever it ends up being. And Alex, less than 1% of those people will ever write that book. When you go to the cemetery, don't have the regrets. You're here for a reason.
Right. That's very beautiful, Terry. And besides beautiful, it's also inspiring. I'll tell you my own personal, let's say, goal that I have for my life is to never lose that energy to dream, to be alive, to do things. Basically, how you basically portray yourself. And I think it's super important, because the moment you lose that, it feels empty, right?
It does.
It feels empty.
Yeah. I remember my girlfriend, when I was in high school, gave me a poster that I had on my wall, and it said, "Happy are those who dream dreams and are ready to pay the price to make them come true." We all have those dreams. We all have, this is what I want to do with my life. Are you willing to pay the price to make that happen?
Right. Terry, you mentioned about cancer, and it's a difficult topic. I think it's in our generations generally in the past, let's say 20, 30 years, it's been it's a huge topic, and still is a huge topic in our lives. How did you seem like a very positive person, very, energetic, things with positivity. How was it? How was this journey for you? Were there ups, were there downs? How was this journey for you?
Yeah, there were. I love the quote from Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of Great Britain during World War II, said, "When you're going through hell, keep going." And that's kind of the attitude that I've taken. I was 51 years old, 2012. I had a callus break open on the bottom of my left foot, right below my third toe. And initially didn't think much of it because at the time I was also a girls' high school basketball coach. But after a few weeks of it not healing, I made an appointment and went to see a podiatrist, a foot doctor friend of mine. And he took an x-ray and he said, "Terry, I think you have a cyst in there and I can cut it out." And he did. And he showed it to me. It was just a little gelatin sac with some white fat in it. No dark spots, no blood, nothing that gave either one of us concern. But fortunately or unfortunately, he sent it off to pathology to have it looked at.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channels and share my work on your social media. Until our minds meet again, enjoy the inner wonder you're creating. Thanks everybody. See you next episode.